My shoulders have been wrecked for years. And come to find out, I actually have 2 tears in my labrum on my right side, a tear and a partial tear on my left side in the labrum. And I decided to go to Tijuana, Mexico, to the CPI, the Cellular Performance Institute, to get stem cells injected right into my shoulders, right into where the damage is on both shoulders, and get a stem cell IV. So if you're here for this video, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll get into my personal life just a little bit. I'll take you on a little trip. I know my channel normally focuses on music and music reactions, but it's also a big platform, and I wanted to talk to y'all about my experience with stem cells firsthand. Now, I just got the stem cells last week. It's been 7 days since my procedure where I got the stem cells and all of that. But I felt like it'd be kind of cool to take y'all on the ride, all the different things that I went through to get to this place. So yeah, I hope this video gives you some value. All right, so I think the first question for anyone who's not familiar with stem cells is, what is a stem cell? And we all have stem cells in our body. I think most of us know that, but you can also pull stem cells from things like, let's say, an umbilical cord, right? And currently they can inject these stem cells into you. And now this is a C-level student explanation, but stem cells can typically rebuild tissue, repair things, joints, ligaments, tendons, fight off inflammation in the body, trigger or like signal the immune system to do things it needs to do, etc. It's very, I wouldn't say complicated, but again, I'm not an expert in the field. I'm just telling you what I know from speaking to people. Actually, right here, I'm going to play a clip from the homie Ed Clay from the CPI, the Cellular Performance Institute. That's where I got my stem cells, to kind of break down stem cells and the type of stem cells I received. Because all stem cells are not created equal. And people, I guarantee at the beginning of this video, one of the first things people are going to be like, is like, why did he have to go to Mexico to get stem cells? Like, you know, are they some black market stem cells? Or are they stem cells from, he getting stem cells in an alley? No, that's not happening, you guys. This is one of the most world-renowned stem cell clinics in the world. And yes, so let him explain a little bit about stem cells and the type of stem cells I got, and then we gonna get right back into this trip.
For this to make sense, you have to understand what stem cells are, how they're manufactured, and why they're helping people. Mesenchymal stem cells are cells that are multipotent cells that can turn into some other cells in the body. Mesenchymal stem cells impact the body by growing new tissue, growing new blood vessels. They have growth factors. They signal the immune system. Some people call them mesenchymal signaling cells. They signal the immune system to go to a specific area and heal. For instance, I had a good friend who had a torn labrum. We injected the labrum tear with the mesenchymal stem cells, and we had full growth back labrum, repairing the torn labrum to its normal, to how it was before the tear was there. For instance, we also inject herniated discs with mesenchymal stem cells. We go directly into the disc. This signals the immune system to go to that area and heal the herniation, relieving pressure off the spinal cord. We also do mesenchymal stem cells via IV. About 50% of those stem cells go to the lungs, so they will heal damaged areas in the lungs of, let's COPD patients respond very well. We've also seen it grow back tissue in the heart. What I mean by grow back tissue in the heart, it actually took a portion of the heart that wasn't pumping, and that portion of the heart started pumping as well. So it signals the immune system to go in and heal a specific area, depending on what it is, the result. But they are highly effective in many different cases of musculoskeletal injuries. We're most known for herniated discs. We have a paper that's getting ready to come out that's going to show between 70 to 81% of the patients that got the stem cell injections in the disc. We have different scores, and we're going to be publishing that in a peer-reviewed journal. It really has a lot of different functions, a lot of different ways that it can help patients, and we see great success here at CPI and TAM Center. Stem cells aren't available in the US because it would have to go through a clinical trial process. So the difference between the stem cells that we have in Mexico and the stem cells we have in the United States is the stem cells that we use are expanded. So for instance, when you hear somebody saying they're getting stem cells in the United States, normally it's a Wharton's jelly product. And that Wharton's jelly product has about 1% mesenchymal stem cells. For instance, when we give 10 million cells to a joint or 20 million cells to a joint, you're getting 10 to 20 million mesenchymal stem cells. I like to use the analogy, if you were you're drinking 1% orange juice when you call it orange juice. It's not really stem cell product. It has a lot of other growth factors and things that do well. And I think it's actually a good product that they use. But it's not really a mesenchymal stem cell product. When you get mesenchymal stem cells from us, you're getting the full amount that we tell you that you're getting.
So now that you heard that, you realize I got the jungle juice flowing through my veins. I'm about to start glowing in this mother sucker. Anyways, I think the next place to go in this video, I'm going to try to answer and think of everything that I've been getting questioned on my other channel. Most of you guys are watching this on Black Pegasus Raps. That's my music reaction channel. But I have another channel, Pegasus vs. the World. A little bit smaller of a channel, but over there I've vlogged every single day of my experience with going to Mexico, getting stem cells beforehand, all of that stuff. So if you want to check out the day-to-day, everything happening in a row, you can. However, I'm going to talk about a bunch of the questions I started seeing in the comments. And one of the questions was, what type of stem cells did you get? You know, why couldn't you get them in America? And that last segment just answered that. Some of the other questions were, how did you hear about stem cells? Have you ever experienced anything in your day-to-day life other than this one personal experience? Is it safe to travel to Mexico for stem cells? Just a bunch of different things. So we're going to get into that right now. Now, my first interaction with stem cells was because of my daughter. I'm going to make a super long story short, but my daughter was diagnosed with JIA, juvenile idiopathic arthritis, when she was 1 year old. So to keep it simple, she got diagnosed with arthritis at a very young age. The fix for that conventionally was methotrexate, which is kind of a it's a cancer drug for kids. I just felt like that was too hardcore for a 1 year old. So we decided to go the more natural route, and we did diet. And because of the diet changes, we were able to put the arthritis into remission for 1.5 years. Okay. However, after the Rona hit the scene in 2020, my daughter did get COVID. And it exacerbated. The arthritis came back, and it was just exacerbated. That's my only way I can explain it. And we talked to a specialist, tightened up the diet even more, and she still had swelling in her knees. If you guys don't understand the urgency as a parent to deal with arthritis in your youngster, this is how it works. Arthritis attacks the joints and the ligaments and stuff like that. Well, your child is growing. So if you don't address it as soon as possible, there is a possibility for, the joints and stuff like that to get deformed, or like things like that can happen when a child is growing. So we wanted to address it quickly. Long story short, we heard about an elderly dude going to Panama in this scenario to get stem cells at the Stem Cell Institute. And he just said he had a full recovery and massive improvements and hadn't seen his arthritis since he received stem cells. Now, I'm not here to sell you that stem cells are a cure-all for things. I'm just telling you my personal experience. So we took my daughter out to Panama, okay, to get her stem cells. And, I think they gave her 40 million stem cells, IV stem cells. Hey, boo-boo, how'd you do today on your last day of treatment?
Good.
Good. Let me see. Did you get your arm? Did they poke you in your arm for your treatment?
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good. All right. Well, high five. Good job. You're brave. Yay. Now, in Panama, their stem cells are called golden stem cells, I believe. And it was a good trip. Like, to be honest with you guys, we actually saw improvements very quickly with her. Now, again, we were on the diet. We were already addressing the arthritis as well as we can. But like in 2 months, the arthritis just seemed to disappear after the stem cells. And that lasted for a full 2 years. And then we noticed I believe it is her left knee, that she had a little bit of minor swelling, which could be a sign of the arthritis. And so we just kept the diet tight, and it just went away. We haven't seen it come back since. That was my first experience with stem cells, okay? And that led me down an interesting path. Once I saw that, I was like, there's something here. Now, I also met a bunch of people in Panama who had these amazing testimonies about getting stem cells and, a bunch of different things. Now in Mexico, where I got stem cells, that's different from Panama, right? You got the geographical location differences. You understand. Anyways, they don't treat children in Mexico. So like when we were in Panama, we did see more children at the facility, and it just opened my eyes to a whole new world of things that are going on outside of my bubble or box. Right? You should, in my opinion, you should consider stem cell therapy a regenerative therapy or therapeutic at some capacity, and that will be the new wave of health in the future if if it's allowed, let's say, right? Because there are a lot of restrictions, especially in America, because it is experimental. But as you start understanding what's going on in the medical industry, you start to question, why isn't it approved? Is it not approved because it's dangerous or because it affects the bottom line somewhere else? Anyways, I'm not going to get into some conspiratorial stuff here. I'm just telling you my personal experience that I saw stem cells work with my daughter and her issues with arthritis. And that's when it opened my eyes to start looking at that as something that maybe I could utilize for my own health in the future. So let's just fast forward to me and my damage, and we'll just keep kind of going, kind of flowing with this. Now, if there's anything I leave out in this video, and just put it in the comments, and I'll try to answer it in another video, because I'm kind of putting this together on the fly. But yeah, let's just get after it. So I got an injury in my shoulder weightlifting when I was in my 20s. I'm 44 now. So it is very interesting because I remember having to take like 2 months off of lifting heavy because after this injury, I think I was doing flies just too heavy, and I was maxing with bench press. I weighed about 155 pounds, and at that time, I did a max of 315. It was like my personal best ever, and that's kind of where it stopped. But something happened in my shoulder where it was just devastated. It just hurt. So you got to think, this is damn near 20 years ago, because I was probably 23 or 24, and now I'm 44, about to be 45 next month. So something happened there. I never got it checked out. I just slowed down on lifting, and just kept on with my life. Eventually, I'd say like 10 years down the road, this side started just aching lightly, and maybe it was starting to compensate for what's going on here. I've always been in athletics. I've always been into martial arts. I've always been into the gym. So I don't really know where this started happening from, but I'm guessing from compensating for this one because it was slightly injured. Now, we fast forward to me being 36 years old in the year 2016. I start jujitsu and go on my jujitsu journey. And it's really a good journey. Everything's going really well. I'm advancing, get my white belt, get my blue belt. On my way to getting my purple belt, I got injured. Now I forget, I think the injury took place around 2021 or 2022-ish. But long story short, I was holding on to defending an arm bar. Just like this, it's very common to just, tighten up, defend an arm bar. And bro, man, was applying pressure, pulling the arm, which he's supposed to do. He's supposed to get my arm extended. I can barely move right now because I just got my stem cell injections 7 days ago. But let's stay on topic for a second here. Get your arm fully extended. The person taps, because if not, break some in your arm. However, when I was holding it like this, my muscles just gave out. I don't know what happened, but I got a pec tear. I didn't get it checked out, so I don't know what happened, because I had black and blue and purple all up in my chest and my arm. I have some video or photos that I'll post while I'm talking about it here. But the initial damage I forgot to like really video. So the black and purple and blue in my chest area isn't there, but you can see it all on the arm. And this injury kind of effed me up in the game. I was out of jiu-jitsu for like 2.5 months. Then I started training slowly, and the same thing almost identically happened on the other side, but it just wasn't as deep as a tear. So I had to take another month off. Long story short, my right shoulder started going insane. It started hurting so bad, started bugging me. Just doing push-ups, it's sore and painful. Doing, light press work, it's just killing me. So I'm like, oh, I must have ripped my shoulder in this accident. So I go get an MRI in America. They do the MRI. They're like, there's no tears. You're good. They said there's a little bit of swelling and fluid. do some PT, take some anti-inflammatories, you're good to go. I'm like, really? I don't do drugs like that ever. So I didn't do anti-inflammatories. I did do PT. It was helpful, but it really never got me over the hump. And I did months of it, and it was just more mobility, less pain, but the pain never fully went away. Fast forward to where we are at right now. And I'm feeling pain in both of my shoulders. It's gotten way worse since the MRI. That MRI, I'm guessing, was like 2.5 years ago or something like that. I might be messing up the dates slightly because I'm just kind of freeballing it off the cuff here. But you guys get the picture, right? So, I'm waking up in the middle of the night. Like if I just move my arms, my shoulders hurt, lifting stuff hurts, working out hurts, and it's bugging me at jujitsu. I keep this stuff to myself because you kind of got to be stoic and be a rock. But it was effing with me. And long story short, I just started looking up, treatments and things that could help it. And boom, stem cells. And I looked into the CPI. Now, this is why I picked the CPI. One is that they make these, I think it's called hypoxic stem cells. So they basically work better in an environment that's less oxygenated. So they really work really well in places, where you have tendons, joints, ligaments, etc. I hope I'm explaining that properly. But and the CPI really has some really good information and stem cells for joints. And I saw a gang of testimonies, but it was all the UFC fighters recently just like, bruh, I got these stem cells in Mexico, and dude, I'm doing good.
It's kind of crazy. You have to go to Tijuana because you can't do it in America.
I think it's the way they not incubate, but like cultivate the stem cells, that they don't let you do it here, but they let you do it there.
So it had a big effect on you?
Man, night and day.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't wrestle because you have to do all that, head position. You can use your head when you wrestle. I just couldn't turn my neck all the way.
So did they go actually into your discs?
Yep.
And that's what kind of led me there, because some of the dudes who got their stem cells I actually really trusted.
The number of patients I've had that have asthma, like I used to be like, oh my God, they don't need their inhaler anymore. Now it's like, yeah, if you have asthma, you probably won't ever need an inhaler again. The high-level athlete guys, or just even regular athlete guys, say their cardio goes through the roof because about half the stem cells end up in your lungs, breaks down scar tissue, takes the inflammation out of your lungs, heals up your lungs. The more air you get in your lungs, the better. The number of patients I had that have had heart, liver, kidney, mostly heart and liver issues that have had massive improvements from the IBM stem cells is crazy. I've had patients have hair grow back, I've had their eyesight get better, their skin improve. So having all those stem cells going throughout your whole body, for me, I feel like I get a Jiffy Lube every time I do them. But everywhere they're going in your body that they can, they're finding inflammation and they're helping you to heal.
Before I, get into my day by day, step by step, all the stuff I went through to get when I got my stem cells just recently at the CPI, let's talk about, is it safe to go to Mexico for stem cells? And we already answered the question why you go to Mexico for stem cells. Okay, now, is it safe to go to Mexico? I believe it is absolutely safe to go to Mexico. Let's talk about the nuance. Now, when I say that, I'm speaking about the CPI, the Cellular Performance Institute specifically. That's the only one that I could give my approval for because of the way they take care of you when you get out there. They keep you insulated. They literally pick you up from San Diego, bring you to the clinic, bring you to the hotel, bring you to the clinic, hotel clinic. The hotel is in the restaurant district of Tijuana, Mexico. And the restaurant district is fire too. One of the owners, Scotty Nelson, took us over to a restaurant called Lorenza, and it was fire. I actually ate there almost every day of the week because it was just so good. But so your hotel's right next to the restaurant district. Everything is safe in that regard. They keep you insulated from any BS that could potentially happen. And when we talk about risks and dangers of going places, let's just keep it real. I live in America. I can go to the suburbs of Chicago, and it's just beautiful, having a good time. The suburbs of Detroit or Michigan, amazing. You go to the hood in Detroit, bruh, game time. You go to the south side of Chicago, no, you don't do that, right? So there is dangers everywhere. We all know this. And also we do know that Mexico has more poverty than America. And that's one of the things I noticed when leaving San Diego. If you just look at the highway, look to the side of the road before you go into Mexico, just pay attention. You're going to see houses, 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 townhomes, 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 condos, condos, apartments. Then you get into Mexico, is a whole new world. Like, that's just what it is. But that's the layout. And when people ask me, is it safe to go out there? Why did you have to go out there? Again, these aren't black market stem cells. The explanation for that is at the beginning of this. And is it safe? Yes, because they keep you safe. So with that being said, let's get into my actual trip and me going to the CPI in Mexico. So the way it started out, first I had questions, and I wasn't sure where I was going to go to get stem cells. I wasn't even going to, I made this decision last minute. I was planning on saving up more money to get stem cells because they are somewhat expensive for the common person, for the average person. When you're looking at statistics of how much money people have in their bank accounts these days, it's expensive, okay? Now, is it possible for you to do? Absolutely. And I did a vlog on my other channel that goes over, some of the pricing. So if you want to check it out on Pegasus versus the World, you can. But again, I was planning on saving up another year or two before I got stem cells because I was always interested in it for the health benefits. But I didn't realize that, I got this tear in my shoulder, and I found that out when I went out there. So anyways, I hit up the CPI. Yvonne responds to me. That's basically my rep giving me a consultation, breaking things down, explaining the process in detail. And it was very, very helpful. And the one thing that led me over to do it is right now they're working on stem cells and they're with a peer review study. So if I go down there to get my stem cells at a certain date, they will bring you back for free MRIs and free stem cells to be a part of the peer review, because when you come back and get an MRI, they can track the healing, the recovery and all this stuff for scientific papers and peer review study. So that was the thing that kind of sold me, because I was like, yo, that's a crazy value to get to go back knowing how much this could help you and how expensive it is. So anyways, long story short, gave me a consultation. I talked to a doctor, and then I just ended up going for it, man. I'm in a situation where I've been doing really good with my businesses financially, and also since I'm an entrepreneur and I turn things into content, like I'm able to write off part of my trip as business because I turned it into content for YouTube, and YouTube is one of my income streams. I also have to cover my own medical because I'm a 1099 contractor and I don't get subsidized by the government with Medicaid or anything. So I pay for me and my family's health. And there's a percentage of things you can write off when it's medically driven. So that made the burden a little lighter. And then, I've been saving up and kind of getting ready for something like this. So it all worked out. Made the last minute decision. Boom. We get it in the books. This is how it goes down, you guys. So you book your flights. You pay for your flights out of pocket. They cover your hotels, food, and all that when you're out there. But you book your flights. I fly into San Diego, which is beautiful, by the way. Kind of chilly out there when I get there, overcast, but it ain't nothing like Colorado. So I enjoyed it. We're right by the marina. So you get to the Sheraton in San Diego. You chill one night. That morning, they pick you up in the lobby of the Sheraton in these black Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans, and they bring you all the way over to Tijuana. They take you to the clinic immediately. Now, if you decided to go with a companion or have a friend, you can bring one friend with you or something like that. They're not able to go into the clinic, so they drop you off at the clinic. You start your blood work and stuff. They take the companion or family member over to the hotel, get them checked in. So we get to the CPI, the the Cellular Performance Institute, and we get things started. The first thing they do is some blood work. You pick your chair for the week because you're there for about, I think, 4 days, 5 days, something like that. I think 5 days, actually. And you pick your chair, and they start doing blood work. I believe they hooked us up to the IV. So they get the blood work, right? Then they hook you up to the IV. The first day we did the Meyer cocktail, which is like a vitamin drip. We did ozone therapy, which is where they take your blood out and then oxygenate it and give it back to you. So that's the red bag. And then we did an NAD drip on the first day, just first day, right? Then they take us to the hotel. Shout out to Scotty Nelson. He took us to dinner that first night, that Monday, and it was amazing. And then the next day, we're back at it. Similar stuff. We didn't do the Meyer cocktail, but I know we did the NAD drip, the PEMF machine, which and then Apatone. Yeah, we did that on the second day. I'm trying to think off the top. And all these things are to help the stem cells. This happens before you get stem cells, you guys. They have all these protocols, and this is what actually led me to go here over any other place, because they have these additional protocols to help your body, like, accept the stem cells, like all these different things that are going to help promote the stem cell in the body and just them be a more effective, let's say.
Ultimately, the mesenchymal stem cells are signaling the immune system to go in and heal a specific area. Or, so if you're going into a disc, it's sending the immune system in to go and heal that area. There's argument whether they're just signaling cells, how long they survive, and those type of things. Those we need to figure out one day, but we do know that it's sending the immune system in to heal that area. And the longer that you can get cells to survive, it's logical to think you're going to get a better response for that. Basically, the immune system's going to the area. Your immune system can do a lot of healing. We just got to give it the right ingredients, per se. We do hyperbaric oxygen while patients are here because we want to get that oxygen in the body. We want to push oxygen to parts of the body that don't only get it. We do pulse electromagnetic field therapy, which increases stem cells in the body as well. Ozone therapy, NAD therapy, increases ATP. We do a lot of things that are synergistic with the stem cells, to get the best possible result for the patient.
So that, and on top of it all, like, from reading about their stem cells and the testimonies of the joint repair and the different damage repair it does, I was sold. You know what I mean? But anyways, that was day 2. So that's what I get out there Monday, Tuesday. So day Wednesday is the stem cell day, and so people always ask, do stem cells hurt? They absolutely MF and hurt, bro. Those injections into my shoulders were crazy. This is crazy. I just got the stem cell injections in my shoulder. I can't even lift this phone with my hand right now. I'm shaking, and I'm not going to lie. The injection into the direct site was excruciating. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic. Man, I'm all shaking. Holy smokes. That shit hurt. And like after I got them, I could only lift my arms that much. So seeing me do this right now is amazing because I got my stem cells 7 days ago. So anyways, yeah, it hurts to get stem cells, you guys, and it needs to. Scott was actually telling us, like, yo, if it didn't hurt, he'd be worried that you were a non-responder. So it actually hurting, I don't know if it like signals the stem cells to go start working or whatever, but all these different things, like if it hurts, is most likely working, right? So that's a good sign. But I guess the shoulders and the hips and sometimes the back are some of the hardest injections where the pain, it just hurts. That's what it is. I heard the knees aren't as bad as like the shoulders, but hey, to each his own. You could look online and see what people are saying. I'm just speaking from the people that got different. I was in a group of about 30. And that's what was interesting, too. There was an NFL player there. There was jiu-jitsu practitioners. There was just common people who just had, some health issues. Like, it was really cool. We met a lot of different cool people, and everyone had a different story. But anyways, we're at the second day. We get to the third day. It's stem cell time, baby. We get in these stem cells. I get my injections. I have 3. When they do the injection, they do like a sonogram type of thing so they can see where it needs to go, and they just deliver it directly in. I had 3 sites on both shoulders, and then they hit me with the stem cell IV. I received 30 million stem cells injected into my shoulder, my right shoulder, 20 million into my left shoulder because it wasn't as damaged, and then I got 80 million stem cells in my IV drip or the IV stem cells. So that's how that kind of popped off. That day, I believe we did Apatone. I think we might have did ozone therapy, and we did the hyperbaric chamber. So yeah, all these different things they're doing every day to help the stem cells. And I just thought that was cool. I hadn't seen a place that, does any protocols like that, right? The NAD drip, the Myers cocktail, the ozone therapy, the PEMF, the hyperbaric chamber, and all of these things are good for just your overall health. Like, these are things like, if you can afford it, you should just be doing for your overall health anyways. Now, with these stem cells that I received, I wanted to be very clear because I've been getting emails and messages, and they were asking, is it PRP? These stem cells are not even comparable to PRP. So this is not PRP. This is not the stem cells they get from your bone marrow and re-put it in. It's exactly what was said at the beginning of this video. So we have some clarification, because I know it could be confusing for people who aren't familiar with stem cells or how they work. I'm just getting hip to it myself. Anyways, get the injection. The next day, we're doing the NAD drip. They feed you lunch there too at the clinic where you get your IVs and stuff. So it's really cool, and it's good food. And where you sit, you can actually sit out and see like the ocean and stuff. It's just a good vibe. But we also do the hyperbaric chamber, and we do that until the day we leave. And on the day we leave, it's literally from the clinic to, I jumped in the whip and they took me to the airport. So that is kind of the short story. I mean, that was kind of a long story, but that's everything that happened on my trip to the CPI, the Cellular Performance Institute in Tijuana, Mexico, for me to get my stem cells. If anyone in here that's watching this has questions or something and I can be helpful, it's hard for me to get back to people, but if you title it, like stem cells or CPI or something, email me, and I'll definitely try to my best to respond and get you hooked up with the homegirl, Yvonne, or whoever you talk to, just let them know I sent you. But yeah, man, it's definitely was eye-opening. Now, one of the most eye-opening things was the people we met. So in my group, it was all first-timers, everyone getting stem cells for the first time. However, a couple days later, there were people showing up, I'm going to say second or third-timers, for lack of better words, and they were coming back for stem cells after having successful treatments. And some of the testimonies were just outrageous. And you got to remember, people are getting stem cells shot into the discs of their back, like the discs in their neck, their shoulders, their hips. People are getting like face stem cell treatments in their knees. It just, you got to talk to the doctors. Again, it's not a cure-all, but from what I've seen, overall health, it is helpful at some capacity. But again, I'm not here to sell it. It's not a cure-all. Like, it also, not everyone responds to stem cells. It is like, I think, more of a minority that don't respond to stem cells. However, there is a percentage of people that don't respond to them. And, as they keep studying them, trying to figure these things out, they'll figure it out eventually. But that's just where it's at. One of the things I noticed, I'd see testimonials online for stem cells and against it. And one of these testimonials was like this. I think it was like a physical therapist, and he was just basically saying that the stem cells he got didn't work. And he got his stem cells in America, and it was that Wharton's jelly. I just think it's interesting because sometimes I'll see these where people are like, oh, stem cells don't work. But then you go down the line and see where they got their stem cells or what kind of stem cells. And it's like, well, that's kind of interesting, because when I'm seeing firsthand, I firsthand saw it at the CPI in Mexico. Now I'm going through it. I'm going to show you guys. Do I recover? Does it fix me? Does it fix my shoulders? I'm going to let you guys know firsthand and let you see it firsthand through my videos. But I also saw it with my daughter's arthritis. Then when I'm in Panama talking to people, seeing the changes they've went through, and then now I'm in Mexico seeing the same stuff, I just have a different perspective. Sometimes seeing is believing, even though, sometimes seeing is propaganda. I'm just telling y'all, seeing is believing. And when you've seen and heard some of the things I've seen and heard, You just look at it differently, right? So just trying to put all the info out there that I could, and also bring y'all into my personal life, because coming back home was kind of rough because my shoulders, like I have to rest. It's a 90-day recovery period from, like, they don't want you working out hard for at least 90 days, right? But I can start physical therapy within about 3 weeks or so. And the CPI is dope because they have an aftercare team. So they call me tomorrow, start getting on point, start figuring out my physical therapy, all that different stuff. But coming home and, you know, like not being able to raise up my 6-year-old, it kind of puts a dent in your brain. Like, you know, struggling to shovel snow, like you'd be like, yo, I can't even shovel the snow because I need to recover first. Like, it's interesting to go through, but I'm like so happy for the potential of what will come. And, you know, I'm confident and I have belief that it's going to work, but we're going to find out in real time. And I'm going to, you know, give you guys updates and, you know, like progress reports on my other channel. And these videos on this channel will be a little longer, more in depth, because there's a lot going on, you know, but I tried to fit like 5 or 6 vlogs in this one video. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I think that's the meat and potatoes of my trip to Mexico to get stem cells. Yeah, man, I'm officially an experiment. Not really. But yeah, other than that, you guys, sheesh, let me know in the comments. What do you think of this? You know, I know some people get really skeptical about stuff like this, and some people are scared of it. Some people are like, yo, this is the future, regenerative health. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Thank you for joining me in my world. You can like, share, comment, subscribe. Huge shout out to the Cellular Performance Institute, the CPI in Tijuana, Mexico. And I'm excited to see where things go and how much I progress with these stem cells. And I will keep you guys posted. Catch you on the next one.